series. GeForce is NVIDIA's main line of graphics cards. Built for gaming, it started in 1999 with the GeForce 256, which NVIDIA called the world's first GPU. Before that, graphics cards was just called video cards, or graphics accelerators. But the GeForce 256 could handle transform and lighting calculations on its own chip, instead of relying on that was a big deal at the time. Since then, GeForce has gone through many generations. GeForce 2, 3, 4, FX, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100, 200, 300, 400, 5, 600, 700, 800, 900, 10, 16, 20, 30, 40, and now the 50 series. Each generation brought a new architecture: Pascal, Turing, Ampere, Ada Lovelace, Black. The naming changed over the years. Early cards used simple numbers. Later ones added prefixes like GT, GTS, GTX, and eventually RTX. GeForce is the brand most people know. If someone says they have an NVIDIA graphics card in their PC, it is almost certainly a GeForce. It covers everything from cheap entry-level cards to the most expensive gaming GPUs on the market. The trade-off is that GeForce cards are not certified for professional software. They work fine for gaming, streaming, and video editing. But if you need guaranteed stability on something like AutoCAD or SolidWorks, NVIDIA has other products. For most people building a PC for gaming or general use, GeForce is the only series that matters. Quadro series. Quadro is NVIDIA's professional workstation GPU. It launched in 1999, the same year as GeForce. Internally, Quadro cards often use the same GPU chip as their GeForce counterparts. The physical circuit is very similar, but the difference is in the drivers, the firmware, and the certification. Quadro drivers are optimized and tested for professional applications like AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Maya, and Adobe Creative. That means when an engineer opens a complex 3D model with thousands of parts, the Quadro driver is specifically tuned to display it correctly. GeForce drivers are tuned for games. Instead, a GeForce card might render that same 3D model with visual errors or slower wireframe performance because its driver was never tested for them. Quadro cards also support features that GeForce cards do not. Things like ECC memory, which stands for errors corrected. ECC catches and fixes memory errors automatically. That matters when a visual glitch in a medical simulation or architectural design could cause real problems. Quadro also supports 10-bit color per channel, which is important for color-accurate work in film and print. The trade-off is price. A Quadro card typically costs 2 to 5 times more than a GeForce card with similar raw performance. You are paying for driver certification, stability, and professionalism. In 2020, NVIDIA started phasing out the Quadro name and replacing it with the RTX series. But the Quadro name defined professional GPU computing for over 2 decades. Tesla series. Tesla is NVIDIA's data center and high-performance computing GPU. It is named after Nikola Tesla, the electrical engineer, not the car company. Tesla GPUs launched in 2007, and they are not designed for display output at all. Most Tesla cards do not even have video. You cannot plug a monitor into the wall. Instead, Tesla cards are built with that means running massive parallel calculations, training AI models, simulating physics, analyzing genomic data, or processing financial models. They sit inside servers and data centers, not inside desktop PCs. The Tesla K20X was a GPU inside the Titan supercomputer at Oak Ridge National Laboratory. The Tesla V100, built on Volta architecture, was the first GPU to break 100 teraflops of deep learning performance. It introduced tensor cores, which are specialized hardware units designed specifically for matrix math, used in AI training. Tesla cards use features like HBM2 memory, which stands for high bandwidth memory. HBM2 is stacked directly on the GPU bed, giving it much higher bandwidth than the GDDR memory used in consumer cards. The Tesla V100 could deliver deliver 900 gigabytes per second of memory minutes. That is critical for feeding billions of data points into a neural network. In 2020, NVIDIA brought the Tesla branding to avoid confusion with Tesla card. Now these products are just called NVIDIA data center GPUs, but the Tesla name defined this category for over a decade. GT series. GT stands for a basic entry-level tier within the GeForce family. When you see a card like the GT710, GT730, or GT1030, the GT label tells you this is a low-power, low-performance card. Designed for simple tasks, display output, video playback, light office work, maybe running 2 or 3 monitors at once. GT cards are not for gaming. They lack the motherboard build, the memory bandwidth, and the clock speed to run modern games and playable frames. A GT730 has around 384 cores and 2 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. Compare that to a mid-range gaming card with thousands of cores and 8 gigabytes or more of fast DDR6 memory. The gap is enormous, but GT cards serve a real purpose. Many desktop PCs ship without any dedicated graphics at all, relying on the CPU's integrated graphics. If that CPU does not have integrated graphics, or if you need to connect more monitors than the motherboard supports, a GT card solves that problem for under $50. They are small, they draw very little power, and most of them do not even need a separate power cable from the power supply. They run entirely off the motherboard slot. The downside is obvious. If your needs grow beyond basic display and video playback, a GT card will not keep up. It is a display adapter, not a graphics processor. For most PC builders today, spending a little more on an RTX card makes much more sense. Long term, GTX series. GTX is a performance tier within GeForce, sitting above GT. It stands for something close to GTX 3, though NVIDIA never gave an official definition. GTX cards are designed for gaming and demanding graphics. When people talk about classic NVIDIA gaming cards, they are usually talking about GTX models. The GTX branding started around 2008, with cards like the GTX 260 and GTX 280. The most famous GTX cards came later, the GTX 970 and GTX 980 from the Maxwell generation in 2014 were huge hits. The GTX 1060, 1070 and 1080 from the Pascal generation in 2016 are still considered some of the best value GPUs ever made. The GTX 1080 Ti in particular became legendary for its performance. Many gamers held on to that card for years because it was so capable. What separates GTX from GT is raw power, more CUDA cores, faster memory, wider memory buses, and higher clock speeds. A GTX card can run demanding AAA games at high settings. A GT card cannot. GTX cards also tend to be physically larger and require dedicated power connectors from the GSU. The trade-off with GTX is that it does not include the newer hardware found in RTX cards. No dedicated RT cores for ray tracing. No tensor cores for AI features like DLSS. GTX relies purely on traditional rasterization. That is fine for most games, but it means you miss out on real-time reflections, AI upscaling, and frame generation. NVIDIA stopped making new GTX cards after the GTX 16 series in 2019. Everything since then carries the RTX branding. Titan series. The Titan series sits at the very top of NVIDIA's consumer lineup. It started in 2013 with the original GTX Titan, which used the same GK110 chip found in the Tesla K20X data center GPU. That was the key idea behind Titan. Take the most powerful chip NVIDIA makes for professional computing, put it in a consumer car, and sell it to enthusiasts and researchers who want that kind of power on their desktop. The original Titan had 2,688 CUDA cores and 6 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory on a 384-bit bus. That was massive for 2013. It cost around $1,000, which was also unheard of for a consumer GPU at the time. But it sold well because it offered something no other consumer card included. Both serious gaming performance and real compute capability RTX is the current branding for NVIDIA's consumer GeForce cards, replacing GTX starting in 2018 with the RTX 20 series. The R in RTX stands for ray tracing. That is the defining feature. RTX cards include dedicated RT cores, which are hardware units designed specifically to calculate how light rays bounce off surfaces in real time. Before RTX, ray tracing was only possible offline, taking hours to render a single frame. RTX made it possible during gameplay. RTX cards also include tensor cores. These are AI processing units originally designed for data center GPUs. In consumer cards, tensor cores power DLSS, which stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling. DLSS uses AI to upscale a lower resolution image to look like a higher resolution image. The result is higher frame rates with minimal quality loss. The latest version also includes frame generation, which inserts AI-generated frames between real ones for smoother motion. The RTX series has gone through several generations. RTX 20 used Turing architecture. RTX 30 used Ampere. RTX 40 used Ada Lovelace. And the current RTX 50 uses Blackwell. Each generation improved ray tracing performance, AI efficiency, and rasterization speed. The trade-off is price. RTX cards cost more than the old GTX cards at equivalent tiers. And some of the AI features like frame generation can add input latency, which is not ideal for competitive gaming. But for most gamers today, RTX is the standard. Ray tracing and DLSS have gone from niche features to something most new games support by default. RTX A-Series. The RTX A-Series is NVIDIA's professional workstation GPU line that replaced the Quadro branding starting in 2021. Cards like the RTX A2000, A4000, A5000, and the flagship RTX A6000 are all part of this family. They are built on the same Ampere architecture as the GeForce RTX 30 series. But like Quadro before it, the RTX A series is designed and certified for professional work. The RTX A6000 is the flagship. It packs 10,752 CUDA cores and 48 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory with ECC support. That 48 gigabytes is critical for professionals working with huge 3D models, 8K video timelines, or AI training datasets that will not fit in the 8 gigabytes or 12 gigabytes on a typical GeForce card. The RTX A4000 provides 16 gigabytes in a single slot design, which is impressive for a professional card. All RTX A series cards include RT cores and tensor cores. Professionals get the same ray tracing and AI acceleration as consumer RTX cards, but with certified drivers tested against Autodesk Maya, Siemens NX, and Adobe Premiere Pro. That certification means NVIDIA guarantees the card works correctly with those applications. The trade-off is price. The RTX A6000 launched at around $4,650. For pure gaming performance per dollar, a GeForce card is much better. But for mission-critical work where a crash or visual error costs real money, the RTX A series is worth it. NVIDIA has since moved to the RTX Prio branding, but the A series defined the modern professional GPU standard. Anyway, I also made some other cool videos too. Don't forget to watch them later. Okay.
Możesz sobie przyjechać.